All right.
Thanks.
Here we go. Now, I can't even use those pictures now because I have it down here. So, here we go. I can use the same triangle because they're all this shape. This is problem D on page 34 of my notes. And we want to find the height of the flagpole. Here's the flagpole. I want to find the height. That makes a shadow 13 feet long when the angle of elevation is 59 degrees. We are putting our angle of elevation right here always. Right? Now, I need to put the 13 somewhere. Stop. The shadow is 13. Think about when you go outside. Where do you see your shadow? On the ground. Don't be silly. Your shadow is on the ground. That's where you're going to mark that 13. It's on the ground. Okay? So now I'm going to write an equation. Sine, cosine, or tangent. Tangent. Y tangent. Opposite over adjacent. So tan 59, remember the angle is always attached to the tangent, sine, or cosine. You'll never write just COS. It's always COS angle, or tan angle, or sine angle, equals x over 13.
Yes.
Multiply by 13, and that's it. We're ready to type in. So 13 tan 59. 21.64 feet. Confirmation?
Yes.
All right. Last one. What is the angle of elevation? What is the angle of elevation of a man, here's my man, looking up at the top of the building that is 48 feet tall if he is standing 100 feet from it? Where do I put the 100? On the bottom. Hypotenuse?
Oh.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. If I say to you that I am standing 10 feet from that wall, don't you measure that 10 feet on the floor? Yes. The man is standing 100 feet from the building. We are not measuring the distance from the man to the top of the building. It's from the man to the building. So, what function?
Second.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I need an equation first. Don't be getting carried away. What function? Tangent. So my equation is tan x equals 48 over 100. Now, when x is the angle, I have to use my special buttons. So second tangent, 48 over 100, is 25.64, Sam says. What do you say?
I agree.
You agree. Very good.
Did you purposely not put a cosine?
No, I didn't purposefully do it.
Does
Does it bother you that there's no cosine in
I
there?
just don't like seeing all the sine and
All those sines and cosines. You're a bit of a trigonometry snob, it sounds like that. Okay. Okay. We'll do one for Addie real quick, okay? Here's the situation. I'm not going to write it out, just listen. Oh, just listen. Oh. I have an owl on the top of the tree. He's looking at a mouse on the ground. The tree, or the mouse, excuse me, the mouse is 40 feet from the base of the tree. So the mouse is 40 feet from the base of the tree. The owl is 90 feet from the mouse. What is the owl's angle of depression to the mouse? All right, so let me back up. Does everybody understand why I put 40 down there? The distance from the mouse to the base of the tree was 40. The mouse and the owl are 90 feet apart. So that's the hypotenuse, mouse and owl. What's my equation? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Cosine x equals 40 over 90. So when I type that in my calculator, because x is the angle, second cosine 40 over 90. 36.
I need 63. 63.61. 63.61.
63.61.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yep.
All right. So now turn the page and we're on to something a little bit different. All right. We are starting to become a little bit more grown-up trig students because we're going to branch out of quadrant 1. And what that means is you're now going to have to deal with some negatives. So let's see what I'm talking about. I have an angle drawn in my picture down here in quadrant 3. Your job is to find the sine and the cosine and the tangent and the cosecant and the secant and the cotangent for this angle. We're on the back of page 34. That's what it says. I have to find all that. Now, here's how we do it. Every time we do anything with trigonometry, we need a triangle. All right, the word itself means triangle measurement. So, what I want you to do is raise a perpendicular straight up to the x-axis. I want you to build your triangle this way. Now, there's no room for question. There's no room for negotiation. Every time we build a triangle in this class, it is going to be that one, which we've already done a lot of, or it's going to be this one, or it's going to be this one, or it's going to be this one, depending on which quadrant you're in. So you will hear me say over and over and over again, butterfly bow tie, butterfly bow tie, butterfly bow tie. Every triangle we draw is going to fit that. If you draw a different triangle, if you say, oh, Miss Ford, I know what she's talking about, I'm going to go ahead and draw this one, you will miss the problem. You got to do a butterfly bow tie. Now, we don't draw the whole thing. We draw the piece of it that fits the quadrant that our angle is in. So this angle happened to be in quadrant 3. So I drew this piece of the butterfly bow tie. Now, they told me in the problem that on this line, I have the point -3, -4. Now, what that means is, here's the origin. What that means is, to get there, I had to go left 3 and down 4. So basically, that point just gives me my x and my y of my triangle. Well, now wait. Now I have this side and this side. What can I do to find this side? It's the Pythagorean theorem. So 3 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared. Notice, by the way, I'm not even messing with the negatives up here, because since I'm squaring, they're gone anyhow. And I'm afraid if you put them in, you'll mess it up. So just leave them out. You're squaring. They're going to disappear. So we have 9 plus 16, which is 25. So the hypotenuse is 5.
Yeah.
Well, you've done this before. The only thing that's going to be different is now you're going to have some negative answers in your list. Because when you do sine, here's your angle right here, kids. Where did I tell you your angle is? Always at the origin. So there it is. So opposite over hypotenuse will be negative 4/5. By the way, if you think of a big circle, the radius is 5, the x is negative 3, and the y is negative 4. So sine is y over r. Opposite over hypotenuse, y over r. What's the cosine going to be? Negative 3/5, x over r. Tangent will be, watch it, positive 4/3 because it's a negative over a negative. And these are just the reciprocals. So negative 5/4, negative 5/3, and 3/4. By the way, when you have a fraction, doesn't matter where you put the negative. Doesn't matter. So you're going to have a negative in both of these and a negative in both of these, but where you put it doesn't matter. Top, bottom, middle, doesn't matter. One negative. The hypotenuse of the triangle, the radius of the circle, the hypotenuse of the triangle will never be negative. X can be negative, Y can be negative, but R or hypotenuse will always be positive. Always. R is positive. Okay? So that really wasn't that bad. Let's try the next one. So this time, my angle is all the way around here into quadrant 4. Now I have done this so long, I automatically make that triangle. I'm in quadrant 4. That's what my triangle has to look like. It always goes to the x-axis. This time, I know this point is 1, negative 2. So what does that mean? Here's the origin. That means this is 1, and this is negative 2? That makes sense, doesn't it? X would be a positive number, and Y would be a negative number. And now I'll do my Pythagorean theorem. Forget the negatives. 1 squared plus 2 squared equals r squared. The negatives get squared out, so just forget them. So 1 plus 4 equals r squared, 5 equals r squared. R is going to be the square root of 5. Here we go. Looking at your picture, remembering that the angle is here at the origin. What's sine? Negative 2 over root 5. Opposite over hypotenuse. Y over r. The y over the r. If you want to rationalize that, go ahead. It'd be negative 2 root 5 over 5.
Yes.
What's the cosine? 1 over root 5, or root 5 over 5. What's the tangent? Watch it, tangent. Negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2. And then the reciprocals. So the cosecant is root 5 over negative 2. The secant is root 5 over 1, and the cotangent is negative 1/2. All right, we got time to do one more. Here we go. This time we are in quadrant 2. So that's going to be my triangle, right? Remember the butterfly bow tie. What do I know? I know x is negative 1 and y is 3.
Yep.
Hypotenuse, 1 squared plus 3 squared equals x squared. Did you get root 10?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here we go. What's the sign? Three over root 10. It's opposite over hypotenuse, so y over r. Cosine, negative 1 over root 10. And tangent, 3 over negative 1. Now I'm going to simplify that, or rationalize, or whatever. So 3 root 10 over 10, negative root 10 over 10, and negative 3. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Then we can do the reciprocals real quick. Root 10 over 3, negative root 10 over 1, or negative root 10, and negative 1/3. So, I need my calculators back. If you